What's happening, people? Welcome to this episode of Everything 9000. What's happening, boys?
I'm good, man. Tell me what we're going to talk about right now.
So, I want to talk about James Bond.
Yes.
So, you know, the new movie's coming out this week.
I was giving you the background music to carry on.
Why could we never start an episode properly? There's always something. Anyway.
Alright, carry on. I won't do it again. You know what? Once you started doing that tune, it just got into my head and I can never get it out once I get going. That and The Godfather. But okay, go.
Okay.
Very, very subtle, Ishan.
Yeah, so the movie's coming out this week. There's a lot of talking points around it. I think today we'll cover, what rating are you expecting? How good are you expecting the James Bond movie to be? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Daniel Craig. Obviously, it's his last movie. Do you reckon he'll go down as one of the best? We'll talk about who should play the next character.
Oh,
I think that's an interesting one.
Yeah. There's a lot of conversation around that.
Yeah. So let's kick it off. I mean, the new film, No Time to Die. There's been a couple of trailers. One trailer dropped recently.
No, one of them dropped ages ago, didn't it?
Yeah. So I think there's been a couple.
I think it was set for release a lot earlier, but because of COVID,
it's been delayed. The movie's been delayed.
It got delayed because he got injured as well at 1.2.
And I think this movie is literally the whole of the film industry is like looking for this movie to bring back cinema.
In April 2020 it was meant to come out, and when the news came out that it was meant to be delayed, I understood the decision, because a movie like this is a movie like
it's not a movie they can release on Netflix or anything like that.
To be honest, it's one of those that I wouldn't even enjoy watching at home. I'd want to go to a cinema to watch this.
All the loud noises, the music.
Exactly. It's iconic, isn't it? But how good do you think this movie will be?
You know what? I've got big expectations for this, because I was looking at some of the reviews and stuff, like the early reviews, and it's promising to be a good one. And I think there's also a new character, and I can't remember the name of the character, but there's a new girl in it. And I think the premise is that basically James Bond has lost his license.
She's the driver. She the driver.
What do you mean?
She driving the car, bro.
No. So basically, there's like a new MI6 basically has a new agent, and it's this girl.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant like his driving license.
What do you mean? I said license to kill, man. That's the whole premise of the movie. James Bond has a license to kill.
My bad.
Yeah. So you've got big expectations. I feel like there's always big expectations though. Has his previous films, especially Daniel Craig's ones, have they delivered? No, I know Casino Royale.
Let's rank Daniel Craig first films, right? Yeah. Let's just say Quantum of Solace was probably the worst one of all of them.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers that film.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
I was going to say I really enjoyed that one.
Nah, that was the second one, That was the second one. Nobody remembers that film.
Okay, go on.
I would say Casino Royale started as a bang.
Oh, yeah, Casino Royale. Yeah,
and Spectre's probably the second best.
No. I would say Skyfall, Casino Royale.
Do you know what? They all start to merge into one with these, the Scottish Highlanders.
Yeah. I don't know.
Skyfall and Spectre especially.
Skyfall, especially when beginning with Adele and that song, it just pumps you up.
Skyfall was crazy.
And then Spectre, where they start off in Mexico with that whole fight and stuff.
Yeah.
And then Casino Royale was something else.
Casino Royale was his best. I think, for me, my expectations are I need another Casino Royale level film from him. Especially I wanted to go out with a bang.
I think this will be a big one, I think, and because it's his last one as well. But perhaps he could be just tied by now. You thought, what, fuck it.
What do you think it's going to be out of 10?
In terms of the artistic quality, probably not a lot, but in terms of the entertainment value, I would say it's going to be at least an 8 or a 9.
I'm expecting an 8.
I'm expecting 8 out of 10. But you know what? I would be pleasant. I'm welcoming a 9 out of 10. Let's see what we get.
Yeah,
I'm hoping for. I think it will be big, man. Because you know what, the biggest point about this is it's been delayed so long as well. First, it was delayed because I think he got injured while filming it, so they had to stop filming, so it got delayed. Then COVID, and then again they were thinking of releasing it, but they said, the lockdown's not fully open, so we don't really want to release it and stuff. Because
also, to add to the hype, there's so much else that's gone around building hype with this movie. You can go in London, you can buy 007 shoes, you can buy the 007 briefcase, and you can even buy Sorry?
There was a watch store that completely transformed their shop to 007.
Yeah, I mean, they go heavy on marketing, man. Marketing a film like this, they spend hundreds of millions. They spend more on marketing than they actually spend on making the film.
You can even buy a 007 Land Rover.
Yeah.
There's so much around the film, so much merchandise, the cars, the shoes, it's definitely going to be a big one.
What about Daniel Craig? It's his last movie. Is it fourth?
Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, and then it was
Skyfall,
Spectre. Yeah, it's his fifth.
So it's his fifth one.
Yep.
previously there's been 6 Bonds in total. Some of the Bonds have just played one movie. Some have obviously played
No, I think there's
more.
only one. The only one that I can think, obviously, like Sean Connery was quite good, I thought.
Sean Connery was the original.
Yeah.
You know, he's quite highly rated. People think he is, you know, the bar.
No, but I
He set the
think
bar.
when you okay, so like I'm a huge James Bond fan, right? Yeah, like I remember watching on ITV used to show like some of the older ones before, like when I was a bit younger, like 10 years ago, and I remember watching Roger Moore. Do you guys remember Roger Moore films?
And Pierce Brosnan I used to watch.
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan was actually more so like in the 2000s, wasn't
When
it?
we were kids, yeah.
Yeah, this was actually wasn't Pierce Brosnan just before Daniel.
before
Yeah,
Daniel Craig,
yeah. So I remember watching a lot of like Roger Moore ones, and they were like the cheesiest ones, like you know the whole James Bond thing, like you know the whole like macho kind of character, the damsel in distress, and like the evil kind of villain and all that stuff, right? Yeah, but I think what Daniel Craig one, it was a bit slightly more evolved. Like they were still like those car chases, they were still you know James Bond kind of like lines and stuff, and like shaken not stirred. Like lines, but I think they kind of like took a step away from those cheesy things, and they kind of like made it Daniel Craig kind of like morphed it into his own image. I think, you know, he changed James Bond, and I think the writing and stuff have changed as well when you compare it to the other ones. As I said, the other one's a lot more cheesier.
I think that's also in line with the movies in general, though.
Oh yeah, but then like you know you had like some really good directors on these ones as well, and I think Sam Mendes was actually was meant to direct this one, but I think he left because of creative differences and stuff. But he directed was it Skyfall or was it Spectre? One of them.
I just remembered one thing actually.
What?
Hans Zimmerman is doing the soundtrack for this movie.
Is he?
Which for me
Shit.
is, you know,
He's
expectation levels have just gone up. a
Oh,
notch
100%.
now. You know, he's done my favourite soundtracks for movies. Dark Knight soundtrack.
100%.
He did it for
Interstellar.
Inception.
Gladiator. He did
Tenet.
Gladiator.
You know, so this guy is like,
He's like the king of like sound, like the music composer. He's probably the best composer there is. You can.
Yeah.
If you want to make a top budget film, top budget with the soundtrack to back it, you have to have him on there.
so I was excited to learn that news. It's making me look forward to the film more.
Who's going to do normally they have a single at the start. Normally like a person will do it. So it was Adele. Remember, then it was Sam Smith. Who is it? Was
Did
this
I hear Dave?
No, it wasn't
I don't
Dave. You
know.
know, it wasn't Dave. It was wasn't it Billie Eilish?
Billie Eilish might be actually. Yeah.
Is
yeah.
it? How do you say her name?
Is it Eilish? I think it's Eilish.
Eilish, isn't it? Oh, but I think it's her anyway. But yeah, smashed it though. What is she, like 19, 18? I think she's under 18, isn't
Massive
she?
talent.
Yeah,
She's
massive.
19, I think. Yeah. You know, the big juicy bit now. Who should play the next character?
You mean which actor should?
Which actor should play it? Yeah.
I think that's a hard question, man. I mean, the
they-
truth is, I don't know.
The producer or director, they came out in the last few hours and they've said that the next Bond character is going to be probably revealed next year.
Oh really?
So they're going to take their time on
shit.
it.
No,
it's
but
not going to
yeah,
be an instantaneous reveal, by the way.
Yeah, but Bond films always come like a few years anyway. Like especially when one decides to leave. I mean, Daniel Craig, remember like
bookies and everyone's already starting to pick their favourites.
Like, I mean, this wasn't even meant to be his films. Daniel Craig's. He was literally didn't he make a comment saying that he'd rather slit his wrist than do another James Bond after Spectre, and then they convinced him with like a 75 million paycheck, and he's like, "Fuck it, I'll do another one."
It's hard to turn down the money. Isn't it? Yeah. So who do you want the next James Bond to be?
I mean, I actually don't know.
I'll throw some names out there.
Go on.
Tom Hardy.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Henry Cavill, Superman.
But yeah, no, that wouldn't be fair.
Jason Statham.
He's too old for
Yeah.
it. He's too old for it.
I
would say Idris Elba. Idris Elba, I think, probably one of the favorites.
He's been touted out there, but there's the whole debate: should James Bond, can James Bond be black?
Yeah, I mean, why shouldn't it be black? Like, why shouldn't it be black? I mean, there's no narrative that says that, James Bond has to be white. And
There was big uproar when Daniel Craig was announced in the early 2000s because he was blonde. And the James Bond character was,
I think
obviously
a lot of people kind of
dark haired.
He definitely looks different compared to everyone.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. No, I think
So
the
if
whole.
that caused uproar, obviously we know Idris Elba was sort of, was it before the last movie Spectre? There was rumours swirling, that Idris Elba might
I feel like as talented...
Idris Elba's been linked to it quite for a long while now.
I mean, I feel like as talented Idris Elba is as an actor, I just feel like... I don't think this goes beyond James Bond, right? I feel like you shouldn't try and my words aren't coming out my mouth, but what I'm trying to say is we don't need to just force representation on like a massively big franchise. I feel like over the years, you can
it's
you
not
can,
even
you can
in-
pull up
look.
listen, Giza, you can pull up the numbers right now, like how many years James Bond's been going on for a very long time, right? It's always been a certain way. Like, for example, it's the same thing. Like, could you change the Bond car from like Aston Martin to
Ferrari.
a Renault or Ferrari or Lamborghini? No, I mean, that's no disrespect to Lamborghini or Ferrari or any of those companies, but it just doesn't tie in well with the whole James Bond theme, in my opinion, anyway, right? So to me, it's like, I don't think that James Bond should be Idris Elba. It just to me anyway, it wouldn't make sense. James Bond shouldn't be an amazing brown actor. James Bond shouldn't be an amazing Asian actor. For me, the people
Could it be a woman?
and I was just about to say that for those who are saying that James Bond could be a woman, I don't think it should be a woman. For the
What
same,
do you think?
Okay, I wholly, like 100% disagree with you, Ishan.
Yeah.
Firstly, you mentioned the fact that, you know, we're used to seeing a white James Bond and like we're used to seeing a Aston Martin in the car. Like, why do we need to change that? Why? It's not a matter of like representation. It's about considering, look, are there black actors good enough to play James Bond? And
Yeah.
one example we can give is Idris Elba, right?
So the point is, you know,
If
it should go
somebody's-
to the best person available.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it's black. It doesn't matter if he's black or he's brown.
No,
or
but I
he's
think it should
Asian
be
or-
it should be celebrated that if he is black or Asian, because look, there's always been this one narrative from this one film that's absolutely huge. By the way, let's not forget, like, becoming James Bond, it changes the actor's life.
It's like a hallmark in your career.
It's like a hallmark
Yeah.
in your career, but basically, like, you know, the whole you mentioned about there being an uproar against Daniel Craig becoming the James Bond. It was mostly because Daniel Craig wasn't that well known at the time, right? Daniel Craig, sorry, he was quite kind of like a small. He wasn't as big as he's now, basically, right? Yeah, he's huge now. But also before that, a lot of the films he did weren't action films and stuff, right? He did Layer Cake, right, which was a action film, and it was a gangster film. But mostly he did kind of like slightly off the beat films and stuff, right? So a lot of people thought, well, if he's becoming James Bond, like the image you see is like a man who's running around, shooting stuff, like macho image and stuff. So people could never match that image to Daniel Craig. So that's why they kind of objected to him. And it wasn't just because he was blonde, for example.
But that was a big factor.
That was a big factor, right? Yeah. But as I said, like, now people are saying, well, why does James Bond have to be like black? But why not? Like, if there's an actor who's good enough to play James Bond, why should he not be allowed to play James Bond just because he's black, right? And it's not about enforcing representation. It's about looking at who's the best person now to play that role. And if it happens to be Riz Ahmed,
Has the role
Idris
gone
Elba,
to a place where, it's thought, okay, James Bond, the character will always live. It's past the initial character that was written.
Exactly.
So no, wait. So let me give you the example. So, J.K. Rowling brought the character of Harry Potter to life. That character was written down before movies came. That character was written down. He was a young boy with freckles, with round glasses, with a scar on his forehead. He's white. He's got a certain image. Right. Tomorrow,
I wouldn't say he was white. J.K. Rowling doesn't say he's white anywhere. She says that he's got round glasses. She says that he's got.
No, but the artwork had a picture of him.
But that's the artwork,
So
man.
so he was white.
No,
You can't dispute that he wasn't white.
no, I'm not disputing he wasn't white, but I'm just saying, like, we are, like, the presumption is so.
disputing.
No.
You literally just disputed.
Look. I'll tell you what, the presumption that he's white is so strong because, one, it's written by a white woman, right? Okay, yeah, it's written about white people and stuff.
I think let's not go down those lines, right? The facts are he was white.
I would dispute that. I would say, like, with
You literally just said you're not disputing it, but now you're disputing it again.
no, as in, like, why?
How are you disputing that Harry Potter's white? A book came out that J.K. Rowling wrote with an image of Harry Potter in the front cover.
Okay.
And
But
what does that image show you?
No. If that book
He was
came
a
out
white
now,
kid.
if that book came out now, I think it might be different.
We're not
Who's to
sure.
say?
It didn't come out now, though.
No, exactly.
It came out years ago.
It came out
And
years
James
ago.
Bond came out years ago.
You're not taking the point. You're going down on a weird route, right?
Okay.
The fact is, just chill.
Okay.
Just chill.
Can I make one point?
No, just chill.
Okay, go on.
The fact is, Harry Potter, the character, was white. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That character has been drawn up in a certain way. He's been played in the movies that came out not long after the books came out, right? In a certain way.
Yeah.
Daniel Radcliffe is white.
Yeah.
Harry Potter was clearly white. Hermione Granger was always ginger. Ron Weasley was always ginger.
Yeah, I don't know. Hermione was ginger, but like, okay. The point I'm trying to make. Okay, look.
The point I'm making is tomorrow, if not tomorrow, in 20 years' time, if a Harry Potter remake comes out, if Ron Weasley isn't ginger, or if Harry Potter is an Asian kid. Is that right? It is. It just doesn't go with what's originally made.
And
okay, but
I
why
agree with
do
that.
we have to stick with the like? Why do we have to stick with what was originally written so rigidly?
I mean,
like,
it's
why do we?
But then because it's been because it's Harry Potter,
No, but-
make something different then. Because this is the point that Daniel Craig made,
and that's exactly
Daniel Craig, right? When interviewed recently, he was asked, "Could a woman play James Bond?"
Yeah.
I'm gonna say his words exactly because I
Okay.
don't want to get this wrong. He said, there should simply be better parts for women and actors of colour. Why should a woman play James Bond when there should be a part just as good as James Bond
Yeah.
for a woman?
And
No,
I
but-
wholeheartedly agree with that statement.
No, okay, look.
Apologies for me not getting my words out properly earlier on, but that's exactly how I feel. Who's to say there can't be a super, super, super kick-ass amazing like black guy
Catwoman.
like that?
No, look-
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
like
look, all these people.
Black
but-
Panther is an amazing example of a representation done exceptionally well. Even the most latest Marvel movie,
Green Lantern.
no,
The
but-
Asian one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's another amazing example of Asian representation.
I
They brought him
disagree.
into the Marvel universe right now, and he's joining the Avengers. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have spoiled that for anyone who's watched it, but I don't care. anyway.
Yeah, okay,
but listen, like they made the role, it's there. But to me, even it's not about simply just black actors, in my opinion. If someone told me that, like, look, I'm brown, yeah, I'm of color in this country. If someone told me, yo, guess what, man, Ishan, like tomorrow Batman's gonna be Indian, I'd be like, what the fuck? Like,
okay, look.
how would you feel about?
Okay, look, I'm gonna make okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? I feel
Why?
like if there should be an amazing Indian superhero,
Or
let
should
the,
be called
let,
Shaktiman.
let, let the creators create something for that person without ruining a legacy that's gone on for so long.
I don't think it's ruining it. Okay, look. Okay, you guys have made your points. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna say a few things about this. What you guys said as well. Okay, yeah. Firstly, the reason you said okay, James Bond has always been white. Why change it now? Right? Okay, yeah. It ruins whatever. Blah 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 blah. The legacy and all that. That I think is utter bollocks here because basically, and you're saying why don't they just create a new character? You gave example.
Well, that's not
of,
what I'm saying. That's what Daniel Craig
no,
said.
okay, Daniel Craig or anybody, and I agree with Daniel Craig. Yeah, like he's saying, look, it should like he's basically saying. I think he's getting misquoted there. Like the way you've said his quote and the point that you've tried to use his quote in is I think is wrong.
I've just stated his
No.
statement.
But in the context that you've tried to tell me it is
Just
slightly
get to
wrong.
your point, go
Okay, he is saying, look, like he's not so bothered whether like a woman plays James Bond or not, but he's saying like there should be roles for people of color and women just as good as James Bond.
Exactly, and that's what we're saying.
Okay, but why should that stop a woman or a black actor playing James Bond? Right? The point I'm trying to make here is when you look at Hollywood scripts over the years, okay, yeah, and I read like a lot of scripts and stuff right here, okay, usually the way it's written is when it'll open up, it will describe a character. It will say, Ron, 40s, broad shoulders, like good looking and all that stuff. And it's always assumed that character is white, right? And it'll come up with something else. And when it's like a person of color, mostly those scripts will say, I don't know, like James or something, or I don't know, like Raj, okay, yeah, 30s, Indian, it'll say their color, right? Okay,
No, but that's because Hollywood is predominantly white. If you're writing a Bollywood script, it will be presumed that it's an Indian actor.
No, but like I'm saying...
That's not the point, is it?
No, the point is we have to change those narratives. Why is it that we are assuming that any person who's mentioned in the script, it has to be
So
white?
I think the viewpoint you're coming from is very heavily, it's very white, male dominated. We need to change this narrative.
Yeah, we
right.
need to-
No. But what if tomorrow, let's say in 20 years' time, there's a remake of Black Panther, and the actor proposed is white? Would that make you happy?
I don't know. It depends at the time. If there
Would you have the same views then? Would you argue the same
It would
thing?
depend on if there was enough black representation. Like if there was enough representation for the ethnic minorities. What I'm trying to say is,
No. The point I'm making is, if the best actor presumed for the role is
Okay.
a white actor,
Okay.
would you be happy for that actor to play Black Panther?
okay, no,
it would
okay.
make no sense. Even the way how Black Panther
I
shot.
don't know. I think the saying it would make no sense. Look. Okay, the point I'm trying to make here is okay. Yeah, look.
I'll answer the question then.
No. I haven't finished my point anyway. What I was trying to say initially. So
Okay, but then come on to this.
Okay, I will come on to this. Okay, yeah. Now you are saying why not create a character just as good as James Bond, for example? You gave the example of like the new film coming out, but the Black Panther. those films I think like kind of like exceptional anyway, because those films are amazing and they're done by Marvel, so they're marketed very, very heavily, right? Okay, yeah, there was a huge hype about Black Panther before it even started filming, right?
Just like James Bond.
No, just like James Bond. But what James Bond brings is a lot of like legacy with it, but a lot of hype as well. Like even if you don't like, even the people that were like thinking, oh fuck, is Daniel Craig, it's gonna be shit. Even those people then ended up watching James Bond and then realized, okay, Daniel Craig's an amazing actor, right? He actually fits. So what I'm trying to say is it's hard to like get another franchise going, especially in this area, because there's so many spy and thriller films, right? Yeah, that you see release. They do a bit of okay and then they die out. That's it. Like there are a lot of like films that are kind of like women oriented, but like, for example, The Spy, starring Melissa McCarthy. There's a lot of other films that have tried it, but they failed to go off and reach the levels of James Bond. Here you have like a platform where you can bring in representation. Okay, you bring in an actor who's not known and change the narrative from there already.
The thing is, you made the statement earlier about changing the narrative. If you're taking
a black actor now, or if you're taking like a brown actor or a woman now, right, yeah, and say, well, look, we're going to make a film on the same level as James Bond, but it's not James Bond, it's going to be so hard to take that film off. It's going to be so hard to like actually turn into a franchise.
I'm sure the first time the James Bond movie came out, they would have had the same...
No, but they would have
like reading my mind.
No, they would have had the same problem. But what I'm trying to say is that why not use the legacy that you already have, the hype that you already have, to then actually...
Wonder Woman came out recently. I mean, that was, a new character.
It wasn't a new character. Wonder Woman's been done before.
Oh, yeah, Wonder Woman's an old, it's an old character.
It's like all of these things.
And Gal Gadot came in and she's done really well.
No, she's done well.
The movies have taken off. I really enjoyed the movies.
Okay, look.
Would you be happy if a man played Wonder Woman?
Why not? Why not? If there's...
I think at some point you have to draw the line.
No, at some point, okay.
I think you're crossing the line at all levels.
No, okay, some point, okay, I agree you have to draw the line at some point, but
you don't think it is for
I don't think it is for James Bond, no. Because
for Wonder Woman.
For Wonder Woman, you would assume it would have to be a woman, right?
Exactly.
For example, right? Regardless of the color of the woman, it would have to be a woman.
Yes.
Right? Superman, yeah, you would say, okay, it's a woman. But what's
Superman a man?
What?
Superman a man, you mean, yeah.
But yeah, whatever, right? Yeah, but like, what's to stop like James Bond being black, or for example, a woman?
So
James Bond is not necessarily. It's James Bond. The way they've done James Bond over the years is that it's not attached to one person, right? It's a bit like Doctor Who. Doctor Who has been going on for years, but it's not like being attached to one single person.
Similar to Spider-Man, then could.
I get your point.
It's always evolved. Like Jodie Foster works for Doctor Who.
I'd say if there's one key characteristic that James Bond has to have, right? For me anyway, and you might disagree with this. You might think
is the masculine kind of energy.
No, for me, it has to be a British actor.
Again, yeah, I get the British part.
And I think for you might think, oh, well, if there's a better American actor...
I get the British part because it is a very British film, right? It is a very British production, right? Everything about it is British. And like even the things that like, Aston Martin and stuff, they're all very British products.
So this is what I mean. When the rumours about Idris Elba were swirling around, and I remember this was years ago, I thought of the idea in my head. I thought, do you know what? What BBC series did Idris Elba do?
Luther.
Yeah. He's had these detective shows. He is really he seemed to just fit the role for me.
He does.
But I did think about, the character was a certain character.
It was a certain character.
So does it take away from that?
No, I think, look, as I said, it doesn't. Like, all you have to do is you just have to watch that person in that role for the first time, and then it will just embed in you, right?
You're right. I think I see your points.
Right, okay. Like, for example, people couldn't have thought like Doctor Who could be a woman, but Jodie Foster smashed it, in her role. She's now leaving, but when they actually first started, like, Doctor Who's huge, by the way. They're like very big, ardent fans of Doctor Who. It's massive. It's probably as big as James Bond.
I used to watch it as a kid, yeah.
Likewise, there's like, I don't know, for me, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider could never be a man.
No, I get that, but like what I'm trying to say is, like,
if you get that, how do you not get this?
No.
I think there's certain characters, but I think what we're trying to say is James Bond has gone to that next level where it's a symbol now.
It's a symbol. It's not a person anymore. Like, even like when you look at coming over the years, James Bond was always a certain type of man. It was always like a handsome, dashing, tall man with a lot of like flicking of the hair and stuff, right? And then Daniel Craig came in and he changed that. Daniel Craig's not too tall. Daniel Craig's got short hair. he's quite reserved, he's quite quiet. Even when you look at him, like the character that he plays is very different to the characters of other James Bonds, right? The others are more flamboyant. Daniel Craig was never flamboyant in any of his films, right? He was always this like reserved, very British kind of like rigid character, right? Yeah, and it kind of stuck with us. And now we're thinking actually we're gonna miss Daniel Craig, but people couldn't have conceived of that before. Like they could have thought like they couldn't place Daniel Craig, the person and the actor and the films he's done before in that role.
I think you've made some solid points. To some extent, I do agree. You know, if the role should just go to the best actor.
Yeah, and regardless.
But I do think there's an element of, you know, the person should fit. For me, overall, I would have probably liked to see Idris Elba play the role. I think if Idris Elba hasn't swayed the decision, I don't think we're gonna see, you know.
I think in terms of like,
I think we've passed the boat.
No, I think in terms of like a person who's not white and who could play James Bond, Idris Elba is probably like the best one to do it.
The best character. Yeah.
And to be honest, there's a few. You know, actually, I'm looking forward to. I would say Dev Patel, right? Yeah, but like obviously, I think a lot of people would just like not watch that film.
I don't agree with that.
But like Dev Patel, for example, his film just came out, The Green Knight. I'm actually dying to watch it, and I'm gonna watch it tonight, I think. And that film is a period film. He's playing the role of, you know, King Arthur's nephew, and again, it's like, you know, blind casting. So and he's actually had rave reviews for it. So why can't we try an experiment like that? For example, with James Bond, who knows? The actor could be terrible, but it could be brilliant, man. Like, you know, Dave Patel's been in The Green Knight. So why are we restricting talented people from playing big names and big film, like, you know, doing big films just because of the skin of their color or because of their sex? And with that, I shall drop my mic.
I think some good points being made. Let us know in the comments who you want to see be the next James Bond
definitely go see this film though.
Yeah, go see his film. Let us know what you thought of his film. Drop a rating as well, actually, in the comments. Drop your rating out of 10. And that's all from us. Goodbye.